Yeah, rumors everywhere. Let's just try to walk through the latest. I'll give you another idea or two of things that have just developed. Chargers are taking trade offers to trade out of number 5. Of course, Jim Harbaugh says if there are 4 quarterbacks gone early, we then eventually have the number 1 pick of any really quality player we want because we don't need a quarterback. Not sure what's fact or fiction about the trade down, but I do believe the general manager, Joe Ortiz, the ex-Baltimore Raven guy, who's worked this draft board a lot, Ortiz is going to make the decision. Arizona's playing the Price is Right. They need help lots of places. They want multiple draft picks. They're willing to trade out of number 4. The Giants are trying to trade from number 6. They're trying to trade up so that they could be a dealer maybe for the Arizona pick at number 4. The question is, what kind of resources do the Giants have to give away if they're going to try to go from 6 maybe up to 4? Minnesota's shopping 11 and 23 and something else. They're trying to get inside the top 4. They're going to take one of the quarterbacks. Interesting storyline in the Raider Nation. Tom Telesco has the final say on trades on the roster. It's not Antonio Pierce. They may have dialogue. It will be Telesco's draft. Mark Davis made that announcement over the weekend. And by the way, Mark Davis has told Telesco, I'm willing to sign off. If you think you can go from 13 to the top 4 to get a quarterback, I'm willing to give up this year's number 1 and next year's number 1 to make that happen. So the Raiders might be back in the play because Davis is willing to give up 2 number 1s. Here's the most unique story that's just developed. New York Jets are at 10. The Jets are talking about trading back, which would mean somebody who suddenly is enthralled with Michael Penix from Washington might try to jump over somebody else, trade up to the Jets pick at number 10. So keep an eye on this. Will it be the Broncos? Would the Broncos jump from 12, take the Jets pick and take Penix? Would the Raiders at 13, if they can't go high, do something creative? And Telesco, he jumps in and gets that draft pick away from the New York Jets at 10 to take Michael Penix. Bo Nix is still out there. Seattle, for some reason, all of a sudden, very interested, met with Bo Nix over the weekend. So that's where we are. We're waiting to see who fires the first shot in terms of a trade, because I think we're going to get 4 quarterbacks taken right at the top. And I think Chicago is staying where they are. Obviously, Washington's trying to figure out which guy, but they're going to take a quarterback at 2. New England evidently is going to take one of those quarterbacks at 3. And then the crazy stuff could happen with Arizona, with the Chargers, with the Giants who want to jump over people. And then what happens with all of a sudden these teams in the back thinking, hey, let me get to number 10. Maybe I get the shot at Michael Penix. It's going to be fascinating the day of the draft, the evening of the draft as this thing starts.
You know, it's interesting that Mark Davis weighed in and said, I'm willing to trade our first round pick to this year and next year to move up. But I look at these guys. I mean, Caleb Williams going to the Bears, that seems like a lock. And then the questions are around what, Jaden Daniels. All right. I always want to say Jaden McDaniels, who's a basketball player.
Well, yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Drake May.
JJ
McCarthy.
And then Penix and Nix. But are any of those guys like a generational talent, someone that you want to, give up the farm to go draft? I mean, none of these guys are like John Elway.
No, but how many have been?
Right.
But we've seen what the NFL's become. Look, Lamar Jackson had all types of blotches on his style when he was at Louisville. Has evolved into a superstar in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Those quarterbacks are out there. Caleb Williams probably got the potential to do that. And lost to the conversation about Chicago is they got heavy-duty running backs, and now they've got 2 wide receivers. They traded for DJ Moore, and then they traded for the Chargers' great veteran wide receiver. So all of a sudden, they got components offensively, and you're going to drop Caleb Williams into that situation, which I think Bears' personality as a football team on offense is going to be drastically different because of the 2 wide receivers they traded for. They're 3 deep at running back, and now you can put that quarterback in there. Could be an instant star in the making.
Isn't it interesting, too, how Chicago's the second largest city in America, yet the Bears have been crap for decades?
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl. It was amazing in the mid-'80s there with Ditka and all those guys, the Fridge. But why have they been just so rotten for so long?
Never had good quarterbacking. Mm-hmm. It's always been that way. I mean, even the defense carried the monsters of the Midway in the 1985 when they stomped the New England Patriots with a great defense, and Jim McMahon was adequate. Jim McMahon was not going to throw for 4,500 yards, but they did have Walter Payton. But, they probably have had the worst quarterback in modern day NFL football. Maybe Detroit has been in that mix up until recently. But I think, the Bears, of course, it's snowy and cold and windy. So the theory is we don't need to throw it. We're just going to run and play defense because of the weatherman.
Well, didn't the Bears give up a lot of picks to go draft, was it Trubisky? And yeah, they made a lot of other failed experiments there, but it's just incredible. Usually you think the big city teams are the ones that are going to have the resources, the smarts, the passionate fans to get the thing done. But it seems like the Bears are always bungling.
Yeah, they've not had a good run in leadership, and they've not been big players in free agency, and that's got to do with ownership of the McCaskey family, which sometimes has not been held in high esteem. Okay, last football